Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel where we're talking private lending, wholesaling land, and ground up construction. Today is a special video. This is the first video I released since finding out I have 1,000 subscribers. So I really appreciate y'all's support. Just trying to provide value for as cheap as possible, free, giving you the just a straight up how it is, not really trying to sell you too much. But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate it for real. I really probably could have got here a lot faster if I was being a little bit more consistent posting, but we here now. And I'm going to really try to format these videos to break them up or at least make them smaller because I understand y'all's attention span is probably not there for 28-minute videos, 30-minute videos. You just got to let me know specifically what you want to know, like in the comment section. That's what the comment section is for. In today's video, this is actually from somebody who watches my videos. So shout out to Daniel. He reached out to me on Facebook. He's a brand new. He started watching my videos. He got started doing it. He has a deal under contract. Literally last week, he got his first deal under contract here in Houston, Texas, in the city gas area. He sent me the deal. He even put it together. I can just tell he's been watching my videos because it's like how I'd say put your deals together versus just getting the address, price, and all that and sending it to a builder. Kind of paint the picture for him. Answer as many questions as you can for your builder. Maybe screenshot some pictures. Make it look nice, right? He did that. He sent a document. Everything was in there for the deal. He put some new construction comps in. He put a recent land sale comp in. He had some pictures on there. He had the width. He had the depth. Everything was on there pretty much. He had a buyer back out. He needed some help. He reached out to me on Facebook, and we are going to do a JV on this deal, and hopefully we can get this deal closed before the end of the month, if not first week of next month. But so I just want to shout out him. Like that's really just taking initiative. And so he did have a question for me in regards to title, like what's title, pretty much. So in today's video is pretty much going to be short and sweet. I'm going to explain what title is, why it's important for you to go through a title company, while certain states, I believe, they require you to go through title. And we're just going to go through schedule A, B, and C of title, and then schedule D as well. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so this is an old deal that I did last year. So this is the title commitment. So when you open title, it's important that, when you're getting your deals under contract, a lot of times they won't open title until the earnest money is delivered. That's why, when you see a lot of investors, like they'll put under their deals like $1,000, $1,500, or $3,000 earnest money locks the deal. It's because usually you're going to get the title, you're going to get the wiring instructions from the title company, right? And it's just going to be regular wiring instructions. What I like to do is always, always, always let your escrow officer know, please, in any email that you send to me, always include my end buyer. So if you're going to request the wiring instructions from the escrow officer, make sure you CC your end buyer. So that way, when they send it, it's a reply all. They're getting that from them, right? It's just to keep you safe, to keep you, just to kind of keep you like, hey, look, the escrow officer has seen everything for all legalities and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and go through with the title. So it's going to be comprised of your schedule A. Like this stuff is really not really that important for you. For like usually what I do is I'll scroll down to schedule C because that's just going to tell you everything that's wrong with the title. So if you, let's say you scroll down, here's schedule A right here in the title commitment. Schedule A just really kind of goes over like um the ownership. So like you can see proposed insured, Savion Miller and or signs, um, the date, and then it'll tell you who's the actual owner of the land, making sure that who you're doing this deal with actually owns the property. What type of ownership? So fee simple is the ownership. So it's just like, okay, cool. This person actually owns it, the entity that's going to be on your original contract. Then you come down here to Schedule B. So with title companies, they're insuring the transaction. That's what they do, title searches. So they're ensuring that like you as a buyer are protected. Let's say if a seller has sold somebody else's property and the real owner's like, my property's not sold, they can look at title and go to that title company, hire a lawyer and sue that title company because they're the ones that insured that transaction. So that's typically what it is. So like for Schedule B, it's going to be where your exceptions are, like HOA, any type of taxes, all like everything that's not like the title company saying we're not insuring this part of the transaction. So it's important to kind of look through this a little bit just for you to understand it. But that's essentially what Schedule B is, high level, right? It's just going to be like, hey, look, we're not insuring this in the transaction. So like it's just super simple. And then if we go down, Schedule C, this is where it's going to tell you everything that's wrong with the deal, if there's something wrong with the deal. And meaning if there's any taxes owed, any liens on the property, if there's any memorandums, right? If there's any airship issues, all that will be in Schedule C. This is basically if they have stuff in there like that, those are all the problems that you need to solve in order to clear the title for you to get ready to close, right? So this is to me, like this is the most important. So in this case, this is a builder I've worked with in the past. So like you don't see anything in here. If you start up here, let's say all standby fees, taxes, assessments, and charges against the property have been paid. There's legal right to access to and from the land. Uh, like like usually here would be, I wish I had one to kind of show you where they had like title issues. Let's say, so like there's none. So usually it'll say like a memorandum has been filed by so and so LLC. That basically means like the seller probably had the property under contract with like another wholesaler or another potential buyer, end buyer. And let's say like the seller reneged. So what the end buyer or the wholesaler went and did, it's like, oh, you want to waste my time? Watch this. And you show that I have interest in this. They're flaking within my window. I want to file a memorandum. And that can be like $100 memorandum, a $5,000 memorandum, a $10,000 memorandum. I'm actually dealing with some of that on my deal right now. We just got cleared up. But so basically it's like if you choose to go sell this property in the future, you're going to have to get me out the way, right? So it's not like finite. They can change their mind and say, you know what, we'll just settle for 500, or sometimes like, yo, we don't care anymore. You know what I mean? It's just that's what a memorandum is. Obviously, you know what taxes are. If you're behind on your taxes, some title companies they'll allow the seller to just out of the proceeds from the sale pay the taxes. But I think with other like you have your tax liens, like a mechanics lien could be here. That's if if we're talking about land, because that's all we talk about on this channel is land. It's going to be like maybe you had somebody cut your grass or something like that, and didn't pay them. They can put a lien on your property. Or if you had like if you were getting fined a lot from the city for people dumping stuff, or you're not going there checking on the land, you can have a whole bunch of fines. That's going to show up in Schedule C of the title. So that's why it's important to understand these docs, not just get the title and send it. Sometimes you can even talk to your escrow officer and say, "Hey, explain this to me, read this down to me," so that way you understand it. I'm giving you a high level of what it is, but essentially they're going to be telling you kind of the same thing. So after Schedule C, Schedule D is just going to detail the amount of money that the title that your closing cost essentially is going to be, or what the title company is going to charge. So for this, the owner's policy is going to be $832. So typically, especially when you're dealing with land, let's say title's clear, perfect scenario, you're going to have your title policy, which is right here, and then you're going to pay your taxes from the beginning of the year up until the date of sale. So let's say, hypothetically, let's say it's March 11th right now. If we sold this property, we were to close tomorrow, they're going to be responsible for the 832 plus a prorated taxes from January all the way up until March 11th, right? And so that's going to be essentially their closing cost. and then whatever, like, taxes and stuff. So you're always going to pay taxes, right? On top of that. So that's just how you kind of look at that. So when you get these title commitments back, and these typically take anywhere between 2 to 5 days to come back, but just high level, how you look at title is, this is you making sure your name is on here, your company name. Okay, cool. Then the owner. So this name that's down here vested in should be the name that's on the agreement that you have the seller sign in the beginning. So if it's not, you need to let the seller know, and title will let you know, hey, this name is different than what we have. You need to let them know, hey, this is different. And they say they made it forgot, or like maybe spelled it. You need to send them an amendment and say this, this is still, everything's the same, but the seller's name is changed from previous to whatever's sitting here vested. And then Schedule B is, like I said, you'll see what's not insured. This really hasn't tripped me up too much. So, so like maybe you see here water rights, all that stuff, they're not insuring that. But Schedule C to me is like, it's going to be your most important. That's what's going to tell you, it's basically what's holding up the deal. We all doing this shit to get paid, right? So it's like, what's holding up my deal? What do I need to do? What do I need to communicate with the seller about? What do I need to communicate with my buyer about? And that's how this is what you're always doing. Because once you get the deal under contract and you find your end buyer, the job's not finished, especially in a lot of these gentrifying areas. Wherever you're at, I'm gonna just speak for Houston. If you're in, City Gas, you're in Fifth Ward, Sunnyside, Acres Home, like all those areas are essentially have been gentrifying since 2024. And so you go into those areas where the families have owned them for so long, people have passed away, people have moved away, and ownership gets tricky sometimes. So it's very important for you, like the moment you get title and there's issues, make sure you connect with the escrow officer, because a lot of times they'll relay the issues to the seller and they'll relay the issues to the buyer. But always make sure you want to follow up and say, hey, what ways can I help? Right? If the seller doesn't know how to fill out heirship affidavits and they're in a vicinity to where you can meet them at, I've done it before. Drive to their house with the heirship affidavits and help them fill it out to the best of their ability, right? Or at least have the escrow officer or the assistant escrow officer really, really, really stay on top of them, how they need to fill this out, what specific names, all that stuff. So that way you can relay to your buyer, like, hey, you don't have to worry. Everything's good. I'm handling this. Because if you go ghost and you just assume that the escrow officer is handling everything and you're not communicating, your deal could blow up. Like, time kills deals. So, I have a deal closing here in 4 days. Okay. I'm on, like, the seller's getting their information in by, well, it was supposed to be by 5 o'clock today. We're scheduled to close on the 15th. So, my buyer has bought survey outside of title. This is how you stay on top of your stuff to make some money. So, like I said, this was going to be a short one today. I really kind of wanted to get on here to really just thank y'all for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to be more consistent with the content. It just seems like it's super repetitive because it's a lot of the same information that's out there. I feel like I'm kind of putting a lot of the same type of content because I've been putting, if you go back to some of my old videos, I kind of put it in order for you to look at. But hey, again, we're here. I'm going to put out more and more content for you guys. Obviously it's providing some type of value. I don't care if it's providing value to just 5 people, if it's just 5-10 people that's taking action, that's get on the way to closing them their first deal. Cool. I'm glad I can be of assistance. If I don't know something, I'll figure it out. So if you ask me something in the comments or you email me, reach out to me on socials, and I don't know, I have a network of, people I can definitely find out. So with that being said, if you do have any questions at all, drop them in the comment section. If you need one-on-one assistance or help, I do have the land profit program. It's a one-time payment of $97, so you can definitely email me. I can get you the details on that. And yeah, if you found this video helpful, please do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's go close some deals.